Alex Delvecchio is widely recognized as one of the greatest Red Wings of all time. He spent his entire 24-year career with the Red Wings. He currently ranks 35th all-time in career points, which in all honesty will probably be surpassed by Ovechkin sooner rather than later. He was the Red Wings captain starting in the 1962-63 season all the way through the 1972-73 season. In this video, I'm going to talk about Delvecchio's ranks in Red Wings history and his contributions to winning Stanley Cups. Delvecchio played in 13 All-Star games. Up until the 1967-68 season, the All-Star game was actually the Stanley Cup champion versus the All-Stars for the rest of the league, so that's worth noting. Delvecchio was a two-time second-team All-Star, and he was a three-time Stanley Cup champion. Delvecchio's 1,550 games played ranked third in the history of the Detroit Red Wings. His 456 goals ranked third. His 75 game-winning goals ranked fourth. His 825 assists ranked fourth. His 1,281 points ranked third. And his 483.1 goals created also ranked third. Delvecchio played 121 playoff games, which is 12th in Red Wings history. And in those 121 playoff games, he had 35 goals, which is 11th in Red Wings playoff history. His 69 playoff assists are 6th, and his 104 playoff points are 7th. Continuing a little more with Delvecchio's ranks in Red Wings history, his 13 seasons of averaging 0.8 or more points per game are top 4 in Red Wings history. Now, in terms of his ranks through the 1966-67 season, I decided to go that far because the NHL increased the number of games played. For the majority of Delvecchio's career, there were 70 games in a season. So that's why I decided to do his ranks through 1966-67. On the left, I have where that production ranks in Red Wings history, and on the right, I have where it ranked in NHL history through that time frame. Delvecchio's 8 seasons with 20 or more goals through 1966-67 ranked 4th in Red Wings history, and they ranked top 15 all time. His 11 seasons with 30 or more assists ranked 2nd in Red Wings history and 2nd all time. His 4 seasons with 40 or more assists ranked top 4 in Red Wings history and top 9 in NHL history. His 7 seasons with 20 or more goals and 30 more assists were 3rd in Red Wings history and top 7 in NHL history. His 3 seasons of having 20 or more goals and 40 or more assists through 1966-67 ranked 3rd in Red Wings history and top 12 in NHL history at that time. His 11 seasons with 50 or more points at one point were top 3 in Red Wings history and top 5 in NHL history, and his 5 seasons with 60 or more points were top 4 in Red Wings history and top 11 in NHL history. So again, all that stuff I just read off goes through just the 1966-67 season. One notable playoff series that Delvecchio had was in the 1966 semifinals. His 8 assists in that series are top 5 in a playoff series in Red Wings history. His 6 goals in the 1955 finals are actually the most goals scored in a Stanley Cup finals in Red Wings history. And his 10 points in that same Stanley Cup finals are the 3rd most points in Red Wings history during a Stanley Cup Finals round. During Alex Delvecchio's time with the Red Wings, he helped get them to the Stanley Cup Finals 8 times, and he was on 3 of the teams that won it all. On this slide, I have Delvecchio's contributions to getting the Red Wings to the Stanley Cup Final. They did not win it all in any of these years, but it's notable, at least to me, to talk about his contributions to getting his teams to the championship round. In 1956, Delvecchio helped defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs. His 4 goals in that series were top 2 on the Red Wings. His 2 assists were top 7, and his 6 points were top 2 on the Red Wings. In the 1961 semifinal, Delvecchio had 1 goal and 2 assists, and his 3 points were top 6 on the Red Wings. In the 1963 semifinals, his 2 goals were top 7 on the Red Wings, his 4 assists were top 4 on the Red Wings, and his 6 points were 3rd on the Red Wings. In the 1964 semifinals, Delvecchio had 2 goals and 4 assists, and his 6 points were, yet again, 3rd on the Red Wings. In the 1966 semifinals, he did not have a goal, but this is the series that I mentioned earlier where he had 8 assists and that it was top 5 in Red Wings history. And his 8 assists were easily first on the Red Wings in that series, and his 8 points were top 4. So I talked about Delvecchio's contributions to getting his team to the championship round. Now I want to talk about his contributions to actually winning championships. On this slide, I have Delvecchio's playoff production in championship seasons. Delvecchio was not a huge contributor on the stat sheet in his first Stanley Cup championship. The Red Wings just rolled to the Stanley Cup championship in 1952, winning all 8 games and going undefeated in the playoffs. In those 8 games, Delvecchio did have 3 assists, which were 4th on the Red Wings for the playoffs in that particular season, and his 3 points were 9th on the Red Wings in 1952. In 1954, Delvecchio had 2 goals, 7 assists, and 9 points. His 7 assists in the 1954 playoffs were first on the Red Wings, and his 9 points were top 2 on the Red Wings, or tied for first. In the 1955 playoffs, Delvecchio had 7 goals, which was 3rd on the Red Wings, 8 assists, which was also 3rd on the Red Wings, and his 15 points during the 1955 playoffs were 3rd on the Red Wings. On this slide, I have what Delvecchio's production looked like in the Stanley Cup Finals. In particular, the finals that the Red Wings won. In the 1952 Stanley Cup Finals, Delvecchio had 1 assist and 1 point, and I decided to not even put a ranking for either of those. In the 1954 Stanley Cup Finals, Delvecchio had 2 goals, 4 assists, and 6 points. Delvecchio led the Red Wings in assists and points during that particular series. In the 1955 finals, the finals I mentioned earlier in this video, Delvecchio led the Red Wings in goals with 6. He was 4th on the Red Wings with 4 assists, and his 10 points on the Red Wings were 3rd. Earlier I said that Delvecchio's 10 points in a Stanley Cup final were 3rd all-time in Red Wings history. Well, in this series, Ted Lindsay had 11 points and Gordie Howe had 12 points. So the first, second, and 3rd most points in a Stanley Cup finals in Red Wings history were all in this series. So Delvecchio was a key contributor for the Red Wings, and it clearly showed in the production. And he wasn't just a key contributor, he was a key contributor to winning championships. Well, that will be all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.